This is the Cliff Yates Show. Personal growth, motivation, inspiration, and philosophies for a great life.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Cliff Yates Show. I'm really excited today because my guest is, like me, a fellow Tony Robbins graduate. She is awesome. She has been on the mission of positively impacting people that she comes in contact with. Her story's great. She's an expert in horses. She always wanted a horse. Her parents wouldn't budge on it, so she took her life into her own hands. She bought her own horses, trained them, sold them, rode them. I can't wait to hear about it. She's got her own website, which is ultimatesuccessblueprint.com. I'm just going to bring her on. Lucie, Ptasznik, thanks for coming on the show.
Hi, Cliff. I'm so excited and so happy to be here. I was watching your podcast and I feel like our missions are in alignment, that we share a lot of the same core values and beliefs. And I was very pleasantly surprised to learn that you've also been studying Tony Robbins for years and years. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, years and years. Matter of fact, my wife and I went to a live seminar, the UPW, the Unlimited Power Within, the weekend, and that was in 92-ish. And then my wife said, she said, I saw the change in you, so I wanted to. So she did the 30-day program, and then she said, if you ever go to another live event, I want to go. And so then we went in 2019, but instead of 2,000 people, there was 17,000, and we were kind of watching them on the big screen, but it was really exciting. But you did Date with Destiny, which is that's the 6-dayer, right?
Yes, it was insane. It was absolutely amazing. So it was 6 days and it was all immersive. So this event started at 10 o'clock in the morning and it went until 3 o'clock in the morning every single day for 6 days straight. And it was incredible because the way that he was able to cultivate such an atmosphere of healing and of just like positivity and of excitement and of just vibrant aliveness. Like you went and for me, part of my favorite part was just like the lights and the dancing and the music, because I feel like that's like what supercharges your soul. And it just made me feel so alive. And it was like everything that I needed. And then you're surrounded, like everybody who attends is on a mission to become the best version of themselves. And so the networking there and the people that cross your path, like you're like, oh my God, how is everybody absolutely amazing? And it's just like, you want to connect with everybody. You want to make friends wherever you go. And it's just like, it's just divine timing, divine people, like everything about it. It's awesome. There were so many breakthroughs and so many transformations that happened within myself, but everybody else around, like it was just breakthrough after breakthrough after breakthrough. It was incredible.
Yeah, that was my experience, because I when I got turned on to Tony Robbins I read his book first, Unlimited Power, and then I had gone to Jim Rohn and saw him, and this is 91, 92. And so then I was on the LA Sheriff's Department. I always tell this story, and I said, I'm going to a Tony Robbins seminar, and I have $600, and people were very negative about it. You're going to pay $600 to have a guy talk to you. And yeah, but then when I got there, the first day just registering, I met a lady. I got 6 hair salons. I brought everybody here. I paid for everybody to come. And everybody was of the same mindset. And it was just like, isn't that great? Oh, my God.
It's beautiful when you surround yourself with doers and achievers and people who have that unstoppable mindset.
Yes.
It's just like you're going to soar with the eagles.
Yeah. I love, I'm always sending that message. I want to attract high achievers and, people that are driven. It's like, I always want to tell people, do you realize you are dying, right? You only have one life to live. What are you doing, right? They act as if they don't. So, hey, did you go to the weekend? The 6 days really immersive. Did you go to the weekend before that, or you went straight to Date with Destiny?
So I actually never went to UPW. I went straight into Date with Destiny. And it was funny because apparently everybody else had done like the feeder event and at UPW and then went to Date with Destiny. But it was my boyfriend who had told me, he's like, I've never been to such a transformational event. And apparently he's been 5 or 6 times.
Wow.
So he's like, don't even go to Date with, or don't even, he's like, you can skip UPW, just go straight in for a Date with Destiny. And I think that, I mean, everything was just like strategically crafted, and the way that they did, like from each day kind of built on the next day. And
Yeah.
then I think relationships day was day 4. And I ended up staying up until 7 o'clock in the morning. And I remember walking back from that hotel to my hotel with the sun rising behind me,
Yeah.
thinking like, all right, I'm gonna get 2 hours of sleep and then we're back at it.
Back at
So
it.
it was incredible. I would highly recommend anybody go.
I'm gonna have to do that. Yeah, it's so great that your boyfriend's on the same path as you. That he went to these Tony Robbins also. Isn't that great? Because my wife's the same way. It creates such a team. You know.
Having that like support with your partner when you guys are in alignment with your visions, it's absolutely incredible. Every Sunday, me and him get together and we kind of just like go over everything that has transpired that week, where we're at, what we want to accomplish the week going forward. If there was any disagreements or misunderstandings, how we can show up bigger and better for each other. And I feel like just being like really intentional with positive communication each week has
Yeah.
really helped our relationship grow and thrive.
Yeah, it's so true. It's I don't know. It was one of the philosophers, Aristotle or Socrates. Somebody said, a life that's not worth is not worth living. Yeah, but you have to kind of go over. You have to review a life not reviewed, or yeah, you have to go over what you've done. So at the end of the day, I try to do that. What did I do today? What worked? What didn't work? What can I do tomorrow to change it? And so you guys are doing that not only daily. You do that for the week. That's good.
Yeah, absolutely. And then one of the things that I do each night are my gratitudes. I have
Yeah,
a gratitude practice every single night before I go to sleep. I will actually list out everything that I'm grateful for the day. And I've been doing this for 7 or 8 years now. And it's like from like every day I'll wake up and, 3:22, grateful for waking up, meditating in my cold shower, grateful for hot oatmeal, and then whatever it is, grateful for uh, going to buy a horse, grateful for showing a horse, grateful for whatever it could be, grateful for it could just be grateful for high vibes and healthy food.
yeah,
And it's kind of trained my subconscious to always look for the good, because I know at the end of the night, like I'm going to be, oh, what can I appreciate? What can I pour out
yeah,
gratitude for in my day? And that really trains your mind to the point where I remember I was like having a bad day and like something had went wrong, but even in like the thick of whatever heavy event I was experiencing or going through, I remember like driving. I was driving. I'm like, wow, this is such a beautiful truck. Wow, that's such a beautiful sunset. Wow, I'm so grateful for this. So it was just like, even amidst whatever trouble I was experiencing, when you practice gratitude and really implement that into your lifestyle, even like the most difficult of times can be lifted to another, like just lifted out of the darkness, and you feel better because you've trained your mind to always look for the good.
yeah. I was thinking about this the other day because obviously it's not that we're in la la land. We do recognize what's happening. If it's raining, we know that it's raining, and bad things happen. And sometimes maybe my mood will dip. I'm not always way up here. But you're right. I was thinking though, but you know what? I've kind of habituated being in that positive state by constantly. It's where I go to normally now. Where
Your
some of these,
emotional home.
yeah, right. I like the emotional home because at first you use tools to get you there, but it gets
Yes.
habituated to that's my default spot now, right? Emotional home though. I like. Where'd you get that from? Was that a Tony Robbins?
I'm not sure where I heard it,
That's good.
but
Maybe it's yours.
it's no, I heard it. Maybe it was Ed Milet that I was listening to. I really enjoy listening to Ed Milet.
Oh my God, I
But
listen to Ed all the time.
so
Just
yeah,
to interrupt you. So, I want to meet him, right? Because Ed Milet grew up. He always talks about it. He grew up in Diamond Bar, California, where I lived for a while, and I was a deputy in L.A. County. He got his first job in San Dimas, where I ended up working as a deputy also. And I can tell he's left-handed, and so we had a lot in common. And so I listened to him all the time. And man, The Power of One More in his book. So, anyways, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but It got me going.
Oh, no, I'm the same way. He's like one of the podcasts that I look forward to every Tuesday when it comes out.
Yeah.
So all of these people like, and that's the thing is like, I don't own a TV in my house. I
Good
don't watch
job.
TV.
Good.
And if I have spare time, I'm filling myself up with positive podcasts. I'm reading. Like, I feel like it's so important. Like, there's so many distractions in our day-to-day life,
Yeah.
and it's so easy to fall into the pattern of just of eating junk food and watching TV and letting your mind and your body rot. And you can't
Yeah.
do that. It's like you're either growing or you're dying. And which direction do you want to move towards? And
Yes.
so I truly believe that we have infinite potential just waiting to be unlocked. And each day it's up to us to push ourselves and always strive to show up as the best
Oh yeah.
versions of ourselves, not only for ourselves, but for our loved ones, for our families, for our significant others, for our employees, for the people that really are looking up to us. It's our job to show up and I like to say, lead and inspire by example. Don't
Yeah.
just listen to what I say, watch as I do,
What I'm
learn
doing.
from my
Yeah.
example.
Yeah. I had very rarely, once in a while, I get a couple trolls make comments because I'm filming myself working out or jumping rope or doing, you're always filming yourself working out and everything because I walk the talk. If I say I'm doing these things, I'm actually doing these things and I'm turning on the camera to let you know it's not a fluff piece that I'm putting out there. I'm actually doing, what I said I do. Yeah. So that's, oh man, that's
I
so
couldn't
true.
agree more with you. And especially a podcast like yours, where you're just pouring out positivity and empowering people to become the best versions of themselves. I mean,
Yes.
what does the troll have any business saying? You know what I mean? Like it, and I feel like it's those people that really need to listen in the most because there's so much that they can learn and take away. And it's like where your focus goes, your energy flows. And if you're
Absolutely. Yeah.
constantly looking to downgrade somebody or put or just like throw shade on them,
Yeah.
like
Throw shade. I
that
like that. Yeah.
you're doing yourself a huge disservice.
Absolutely. And
It's almost like
you're living it. You know this. I always say this because it's at first somebody might say that's selfish, but when if you make yourself a better person, you become a better communicator. You learn to listen better, and you become a better person. That's the greatest gift you can give your family, your friends, or your loved one. So you guys, I'm sure, are out serving each other all the time, right?
we try to. I feel like, and honestly, I feel like that was one of my biggest takeaways at Tony Robbins is just to show up in service and to
Yeah.
live selflessly and to love selflessly and to put other people's needs above my own.
Yeah.
And because I mean, he brilliantly explains that all of the problems, all of the suffering of the world is caused by one thing, and that's selfishness.
Yeah.
And if the definition of love is to put someone or something in front of yourself, then that only means that love is the answer to all problems and
Yeah.
all suffering. And I know that like sounds super cliche, but it's so true that love is the most powerful force in the
Yes.
universe.
That's how yeah, it's so true. Just somebody had Jack Hibbs is a preacher, pastor. He had somebody on and the guy was saying, just put love on people, man. Just start putting it on them. Hey, how many people were in the Date with Destiny? It's a smaller group, right? Or how many people?
Yeah, so it's a smaller group. There was 5,000 people, 2,000 people live in studio, and then 3,000
Wow.
people that were virtual.
Yeah.
And the cool thing was that there was 195 different countries there. So like
Yeah.
I mean, okay, so they didn't have breaks. They weren't bathroom breaks. So I mean, and this thing started, it went, and it was like so content rich that you wanted to be taking notes every second. You
Yeah.
wanted to be in the action. You didn't want to miss anything. So if you had to run to the bathroom, I mean, I was like sprinting to the bathroom.
Yeah. Me too.
And
Yeah.
so I'm like running to the bathroom, and then like we're all like doing our potty dance in the bathroom, and then while you're in line, you're meeting people from all around the world. And for me, it was so validating because I was talking to women that had just flew in from Singapore. I had made so
Oh,
many
wow.
friends from Australia. There was like, I sat next to the coolest guy from the UK. He used to work at UPW. He helped with a fire walk.
Oh my
And
God.
so when I felt so blessed to sit next to this guy because he had a whole backpack. He had a massage gun, and then he had an abundance of snacks. So one of the cool things about the Tony Robbins event is like it's all about state and it's all about
It's all
energy,
about
and it's like,
state. Yeah.
yeah, and it's like you have to stay engaged and stay excited because he also talks about how time is just a concept and that we make up in our mind, and it's not real because the only thing that really exists is the now moment.
That's
And
right.
so if you can be having the most fun of your life, and the 3 hours that you're there can go by in a blink of an eye, or you can be in a 30-minute meeting when you're like, oh my God, this is absolutely miserable. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's all about like the state that you show up in. So his events, as you know, are
Yeah.
extremely high energy, and the music and the dancing and the fun. And sometimes we'll be dancing and jumping up and down, but sometimes he'll say, okay, now everybody turn to the left, and you're going to start give your person a massage in front of you. And
Yeah.
so then you'll like massage the person in front of you, and the person behind you will massage you, and you'll have like these big massage lines. And then he'll
Yeah.
say, okay, now switch, and then turn around. So the cool British guy, the guy from the UK, he came prepared, and he had a massage gun. So he was massaging everybody around him. And it was so cool because the whole premise of the entire thing is like, how can you serve and how can you give back? So
Yeah.
I thought he was a
Yeah.
brilliant example.
Yeah. Tony built that studio so that he could have that bank of screens. I mean, Ed Milet rents that out, and other people rent that out to do events. So he kind of created a business model there that's feeding his companies, man. That's awesome.
Oh yeah,
Crazy.
I know. I know. I mean, if you had to, I mean, I was gonna say, if you had to choose, would you do online or in person?
In person, because I just know the difference that makes, because, when I did stand-up comedy for 25, 30 years, and, watching online or being in the energy of the people around you, just in a comedy club, creates the atmosphere. The lighting, the way things are set up can create whether it's going to be a successful show or not. And so I know the live event is just much better.
I feel the same exact way. I know he set up that studio because COVID happened and
Yeah.
all the live events were shut down. And I think it was really ingenious in the
Yeah.
way that, and now instead of being able to reach, 5 or 10,000 people in an arena or a stadium, now he's reaching hundreds of thousands of people all around the world instantaneously. So I definitely think it served the purpose, but at the same time, if I had the choice to be in person or just streaming live, I would be in person all day long just because that energy
Yeah.
is contagious.
Absolutely. And this is a testimony to your success, because I got to tell you, you know, the price point of that date with Destiny is no small thing. You have to be at a level of success to be able to go to that. So the fact that you've guys gone and your boyfriend's gone multiple times is a testimony that you have the success to reinvent in yourself to that price point.
Yeah, I mean the tickets to Date with Destiny were 6,500
Yep.
USD.
Oh yeah.
Um and I'm a huge proponent of investing in yourself.
Oh,
If there's one thing, like if you're going to spend money on anything, like don't waste money on material things. On I mean, and if you have an abundance and an extra, okay, sure, splurge, do what you want. But when you're building and you're creating, I feel like investing in yourself is by far the highest ROI that you will receive.
absolutely. I think mine was, I was telling you, it was 600 when I went in 92. It wasn't much different in 2019, but if I hadn't have done that, I would have never got promoted to sergeant. I would have never done it. Probably resulted in an extra, I don't know, $800,000 return on that 600. I should have paid 10 times for that. I mean,
It's
unbelievable.
incredible. It's
Yeah.
incredible how just attending these live events. I mean, so one of the things that we talk about, and we put together a 16-week program on how to um, rewire your subconscious mind, transform your
Yes.
identity, and take massive action towards towards your goals. And and there's two ways essentially to rewire your subconscious mind. The first is repetition, whether
Yes.
that's repetitious study or the rituals that you're doing, whether it's a gratitude practice, whether it's meditation, affirmations, incantations. There's like a whole list of them that will actively rewire your subconscious mind. But again, you have to put in the reps. You have to show up day after day, and you have to be consistent with it. And then the second thing that's going to rewire your subconscious mind is emotional impact. And that's
Yes.
exactly what attending these live events is going to do. Because essentially, we all like our lives are our lives are made up of stories and of patterns. We are creatures of habit. And
Yeah.
so we love, we don't want to change. We like doing what we're doing. And a lot of times we don't even realize that we're living one pattern after the next, after the next.
Yes.
So the cool, like we get used to it, we get conditioned, and we get comfortable. And so a lot of times these patterns or these stories are just running our lives. And so much to the point that like sometimes people even will fall into that like place of victimhood. So the cool thing about attending really any sort of live event, especially the Tony Robbins one in particular, it's so immersive. It takes you away from anything that was once familiar
Yeah.
to you, and it's
Yeah.
a giant pattern interrupt. So everything
Yes.
that was familiar with you, what you're used to doing, what you're used to thinking, how you're used to feeling, we have patterns of physiology, patterns of focus, and patterns of language. And essentially, when you're pulled outside of your environment and you're just consuming like pure, positive, empowering content, I mean, that's going to start to change how you feel, how you think, what you say, and essentially who you are. And so, attending that 6 day immersive event, I mean, it was worth every penny because it was a giant pattern
Yeah,
rewire.
it is. Yeah. I like that you hit on the pattern of those, because I always talk about those three things too when you want to change your state, right? Change your physiology, change your focus, and change the way you're talking to yourself. I mean, it'll
Yes.
probably happen in the first phase, like you said, we fall into that kind of default into a pattern of maybe negative physiology, negative focus, negative language. Man, that is so good. I want to ask you about the horses so you have there. If someone wants to work with you, they can go to ultimatesuccessblueprint.com, and you said you have like a free
Yeah.
slash Cliff
So
Yates that I'm going to include those links in the podcast platforms and also the YouTube channel.
Yeah, so we actually just put together a free training that it's kind of like we have this robust 16-week program that, like I said, will transform your identity and rewire your subconscious mind.
Great.
But what we've done is we've condensed it into about an hour, hour and a half training. And so if they go, and normally people have to pay for this training,
Yeah.
but if they go to the ultimatesuccessblueprint.com/Cliff Yates, all of your audience will have access to this free training. And
Wow.
so,
This is
yeah, and
great. I'm going to do this.
yeah, so and it's just got all the tips, the tricks, the techniques, and I mean, obviously with our program, we provide community and accountability, and we're holding your hand each step of the way. But this is kind of just giving everybody that instant leg up because we all need a leg up. We all need a
Yeah,
boost.
that's
And
right.
so that's, yeah, it's kind of like a giving people that not only like that little dose of positivity, but incentive and instructions on what they can actively do to start taking back control of their reality. Because I wholeheartedly believe that we are the magnificent and powerful creators of our own reality,
Yeah.
and that we can be, do, have anything we can dream of.
And I want people to go to your YouTube channel. It's Lucie Ptasznik too, right? You have great videos on there. We got to blow that up because those with you going to that ranch and riding those horses, you're an awesome rider. Oh my God.
Yeah, I've been riding horses for quite some time now.
Obviously, yeah.
I started my YouTube channel quite a few years ago, and then I had so much fun with it. And well, the reason why I started it was because I wanted to just like promote positivity and
Yeah.
empower people. to dream big and
Yes.
essentially like I guess my story is kind of like I followed my dream. When I was a little girl, I was obsessed with horses, like
Yeah.
absolutely obsessed. Begged my dad for a horse forever. He always said like I love you sweetheart, but our family doesn't have the means to buy a horse. So just like you had said at the end the intro to the show, I had to take matters into my own hands. And so when I was 16, I got the day I turned 16, I got my license. I put my Craigslist online saying, I will ride your horse for free. Then I had all of these Yahoos calling me with their like unbroke, green broke horses.
Oh shit.
And yeah, and I never had any formal instruction or education. I was just a girl who wanted to ride a horse, and I thought I knew what I was doing, but I was quickly shown that I had no idea what I was doing,
Oh
and that's
man.
when I was getting bucked off and thrown off and flipped over on top, all of the things, but it never stopped me. I was just always super happy to crawl right back up and try again. And so the horses taught me everything that I know. And then I think it was just like that mindset of just like that unstoppable, just tenacious mindset of like, I will not give up. I
Yeah.
will not stop. And I'm going to succeed. And more than anything, like I'm going to follow my passion. And so in doing that, I was then able to build a business where I buy, train, and sell horses all over the country.
God, it's great.
And I accidentally opened up High Vibe Trail Rides, which is one of Michigan's largest public trail riding companies, which is super funny because
High
I
Five
didn't
Trail
even
Rides. I like that name. Wow.
high
Yeah.
vibration.
Oh, high vibe. Oh, high vibe. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and whatchamacallit? And it was and I didn't even do it intentionally. Like it was just because like I loved trail riding and I wanted to share that with other people. And so it kind of just like everything that I've done has all kind of started organically and then just grown through word of mouth.
Yeah.
So what was happening was at the time I was buying we'd like go out and we'd go like buy 5 or 6 horses, and then I would invite my boyfriend and his friends, and we'd take the horses out riding for the day. And so then I would get all 5 or 6 horses ridden and videoed, and I'd be able to use the pictures and the videos in the sales ad. And then everybody had so much fun. And then they would eventually invite their friends or their girlfriends or their family. And then next thing you know, it was kind of like a bartering thing, like, oh, hey, like, can you help me maybe like change my oil, or can you help me with this? And yeah, absolutely. Like, I'd love to take you guys out riding. And then all of a sudden I was like, I probably could charge for this.
Yeah. There's a great value
Um,
there. Yeah.
and then sure enough, it just ended up like a growing and becoming, and I just like right place, right time. Kensington Park has like Dairy Queen. And so then we would do these Dairy Queen rides where we'd trailer families in, and then we'd ride through the park to Dairy Queen. We'd tie the horses up,
Oh
run to
my
get an
God.
ice cream, and then we'd get back on the horses, and then we ride through the Huron River. And it's just
Oh my God. That's
it's an
great.
incredible experience that like every kid that we take is always like, oh my God, today's the best day ever.
Oh
And
man.
so you're just surrounded by like sunshine and smiles and horses. You're out in nature. So not and so I say all of that not to be like, oh hey, look at me. But my point in all of this is that like I was just a girl with a big dream and I
Yeah.
followed it. Napoleon Hill says, if you have a burning
Yeah.
desire, get obsessed with that desire. I feel like the most important thing that you can do is find what you're talented at, whatever your skill set is, and exploit it in the service of others. And
Yes.
success and abundance will surely follow. So so that's kind of why I started my YouTube channel, is because I wanted to lead and inspire by example and kind of showcase like, okay, this is who I am and what I've built, because I believe in like the fearless pursuit of fun.
Ah, me too.
And
Yeah.
and guess what? Like you can have it too. We're no different. You can follow your dreams. You just have to have like that relentless pursuit of
Yes.
like, I can, I will. If I can't, I must. And
Yes.
so I grew up with Dr. Wayne Dyer and Abraham Hicks and learning all about the laws of the universe and how to leverage these laws. And so that was why I created the YouTube channel, was to teach them. But what eventually ended up happening was I was making a bunch of videos, and I got burnt out. I didn't have a
Yeah.
video editor, and so I just got busy. I just got busy
Yeah.
with horse sales and the trail riding blowing up,
Yeah.
and so now I'm finally in a space where I'm like, okay, I'm here to serve. Like,
Yeah.
dear, like every day I wake up, like, dear God, like, please use me, speak through me. Like, how
Yeah.
can I serve others?
God
So,
works through us. That's right. Oh my God. I'm going to send everybody. You got to go to ultimatesuccessblueprint.com/Cliff Yates, and you're going to get some free training. Yeah. Napoleon Hill, I got his deluxe edition, Law of Success. So, man, I read Napoleon Hill all the time. I want to ask about the horses because my wife has a niece, special needs niece. She's got some form of, it's pretty bad, but they use horse therapy. Why is it so magical to be around horses?
oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, they're just such healing creatures. First of
Yeah.
all, like, okay, as you know, we live in a vibrational universe where all things move and all
Yeah.
things vibrate. And nature is the perfect vibration. So, just as you know, like, just as important as like, it sounds cliche to just like take your shoes off and walk on the grass or walk in the sand or walk on the beach, like that, you are like calibrating your energy or your vibration
Yeah.
nature's vibration. And so anytime that you spend time outside in nature with horses, you are it makes you feel better. It's
Yeah.
very, very healing. They're extraordinarily empathic animals. They read energy. Um,
Yes, they do. Yeah.
and
They
their
can
heart
sense if you're afraid or they're really intuitive.
Oh, absolutely. Extremely intuitive. Like they are energy readers, receptors, interpreters. And so it's funny, sometimes we'll have like we might have a guest. I remember this one time we had this like the laziest short fat halflinger pony you could imagine. I mean, this thing was old and this thing was slow. And so we had a guest who was super scared and nervous. And so we're like, oh, give him Daisy, Daisy's slow. And
Yeah.
so next thing you know, like Daisy's like just cruising along the trail, like just walking, like a fast, determined walk. And I'm like, I've never seen that horse walk so fast. And so then sure enough, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what's going on? And she's like, oh, I'm really nervous. And I'm like, okay, well, just relax your whole body. Like sit on the horse as if you were just like a bag of potatoes. Relax everything from your stomach, your belly button down, your hips, your butt, your
Yeah.
legs, your thighs. And she's like, oh, so I'm not supposed to grip onto it like a vice grip and squeeze it? And I'm like, no. Like that's why Daisy's walking so fast, because when you kick her, that's like a sign to tell the horses to go. And so when you are nervous and you are like radiating that nervous energy, the horses are picking up on that, and they're prey animals. And so they feel that nervous anxiousness, and they're like, where's the predator? Like, what do we need? Like, where's the danger at? Why do I need to be nervous? And then you will unintentionally like hype them up if you're nervous. So that's why
Oh, that makes
it's really
sense that they're prey animals. They're not predators. They're used to being prey, so they have to be on guard to survive.
yes, absolutely. And so if you're nervous, they're like, oh my God, where's the danger
Yeah.
at? What do we need to be nervous about? As opposed to like if you're just sitting on the horse like a bag of potatoes, just
Yeah.
enjoying the scenery and relaxing, then they'll relax right there with you.
It seems they read that energy. They don't even have to see you, just you on their back. They read the energy through
Oh,
your
absolutely.
body.
If a mosquito lands on a horse's back, I mean, they can instantly feel it. If a fly lands on their back, they'll like kind of like twitch their skin. So, I mean, if you've got your butt cheeks puckered and you're squeezing the whole, you know what I mean? Like if you're nervous on the horse, they can
Yeah.
absolutely feel that.
Have you seen Heartland? You must have seen Heartland.
Oh yeah, when I was little.
Oh,
Yeah.
we've watched that thing, I think maybe twice. I don't know.
Yeah. And now like so many guests come out and they're like, "Oh my God, we've been watching Yellowstone." And
Oh
because if you
man.
and so everybody, if you go to High Vibe Trail Rides on Instagram, we try to post it daily, and you can see some of our content, whether it's pictures or videos, just to kind of give you an idea of like the horses and the scenery. So many people check out our Instagram and they come. and they're like, wow, I've been watching Yellowstone with my boyfriend, and I told him we needed to come here. And I mean, people come from all over. I mean,
Wow.
they travel from hours away just because it's such a unique experience with riding through the river and stopping to get ice cream at Dairy Queen. And we have different fun rides, like we have like a wine and cheese ride, or we do a meditation ride. So
God, that's great.
that's one of my favorite rides, just because I'm like such a huge advocate of meditation and how, I mean, it propelled my life to a whole different vibrational playing field. That if there's one thing that I tell everybody that I can guarantee is going to change your life and positively impact your life personally and professionally, it's meditating. So
Yeah.
I was very like, that was one of the first things I did, is incorporate the meditation in with the horseback riding. So that way you get like, it's like a 3 hour experience where we ride out, and then we stop, we tie up the horses, we have a picnic, and
Oh
then we do a
man, that's so
gratitude
cool.
meditation. Yeah. And so it's all about, like, again, just crafting your life however you want it to look like. If you could sit down and ask yourself, what, like, if I could have anything I wanted, if money were of no object to me, what would my life look like? And so that's the second pillar of our we have three pillars: energy, desire, and belief. And desire is the second one, about crafting a vision and getting absolute clarity on what you want. And so we love asking our students, okay, like, if you could have anything you want, what would it look like? And so many times people, like, you ask them what do you want in life? And they will immediately have a laundry list of everything that they don't want. I don't want this, I don't want that, I don't want this. And it's just like, okay, let me remind you that we live in an attraction-based universe where you don't get what you want, you attract what you are, and where your focus goes, your energy flows. So if you're constantly focusing on the negative, on what you don't want, you're just going to bring that negative experience or circumstance to you faster. And so we walk people through like a really intense process of just extracting their vision for their life and their business, so that way people can get crystal clear, and that way we can get a roadmap of how to take them from where they're at to where they want to be. And it's so cool. Like, it's so crazy, because in these masterminds that we do, people, like, goals that people have had for years, it's like people will have the same New Year's resolution year after year after year, because nothing changes. It's
Yeah,
like, if nothing changes, nothing changes.
that's right.
And but when you all of a sudden you're surrounded by a community, and you have accountability, and you're writing it down, and you actually have like the actionable steps, the action steps that you
Yeah,
can start doing today. I love the way, like, it's like your goal, you collapse timelines and your goals start to manifest before you.
they do.
I love what Ed Milet always talks about, that we don't have a problem with goal setting. We have depth perception.
Yeah,
We will we will overestimate what we can do in a year, and we will underestimate what we can do in 5 years, because it's like we have these goals or these visions for our life, but they seem so far away. They seem like in the distant future, that we have all of this time that's good, that we need to get there. And to your point, like, our time here is finite. We don't, like,
yeah,
our time is not guaranteed. We don't know how much time we have. So we need to start taking action towards our dreams now, like
yes,
right now. I like to
yes,
say that we're only one decision away from
yep,
a
that's right.
totally different life. Like, it's just making the decision, and then committing, and then showing up with like
Yeah,
integrity and discipline for yourself, and for your community, for your loved ones, for your family. It's all up to you.
you got to take action, and you can always take one action, whether it's cutting out a picture of where you want to go, what you want to be. It doesn't matter. It's just set a destination, because, the port may change, right? But get the damn boat untied, leave the harbor for that destination. That may change along the way, but you got to get moving, because it puts a lot of things in motion, and things you never thought
Yeah.
would be possible will happen, man. I can't, it's a drum that I've been beating for a long time, and you're doing it too. Is that a separate company? The high vibe rides? That's a different one,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, so what the, so we have High Vibe Trail Rides, which is basically like the public trail riding company.
Yeah.
So if anyone's in Michigan and wants a fun trail
Please
ride,
go there. That just sounds so awesome. Yeah.
it, it's a lot of fun. And we have an incredible team of awesome wranglers
You
that
got
we very
wranglers, man.
Oh yeah, we have a whole team. Uh,
Yeah, I like
and
that.
it's really important for me to pick out people that share the same values and the same energy, and they're going to
Yeah.
provide the same experience. Because one of the things, like as a business owner, one of the things that was hard for me in growing and scaling the business was learning that I can't do all the things inside of
I
my
know.
business. Like I was so used to working from sun up to sundown, like from the moment that my eyes opened and getting on the phone and start working and texting and assigning rides and horses and doing all the things
Yeah.
from the moment my eyes closed at night. Like I was working from sun up to sundown, doing all the things, taking out 3 or 4 rides back to back to back. And I remember during the peak of it, I was on the horse for like, 10 hours a day, and I
Oh,
was
wow.
trail riding. But I remember like I would have my phone in my hand, and like I would be like, I'll be right with you. I'm setting up horses for the next ride, or I'm scheduling these guests who are running late, or whatever it could be. And so it was just nonstop. And it wasn't until like I started hiring people and putting different people in the right places that were actually more qualified than me in those areas,
Right.
that they were able to do a better job than I was, because it's
Yeah.
like you get frustrated and you get burnt out. And then like, I mean, it was getting so bad, Cliff. Like I was so busy and like so overwhelmed that like people would call and be like, "Hi, we're looking for a trail ride." And like at one point, like there was, oh my God, I'll never forget this one phone call. Somebody called and they're like, "Hi, is this the trail riding place?" And I was like, "Well, how'd you get this phone number?" They're like, "Google." And I'm like, "Well, then yes, to answer your question, this is the trailer." But it's like
Yeah.
you get that question 3,000 times a day.
Yeah.
And then it became overwhelming. And so it was at that moment that I realized, like, okay, I'm not showing up as my best self for my people, for my clients, for my
Yeah.
customers. So when I put Ashley, who's now my operations manager, in charge of that, oh my God, she is an angel and she takes care of everybody so well. So, and she doesn't mind like the constant, the beret
Yeah.
of the same questions over and over again. So God bless her.
And that's
She's
her
an
focus.
angel.
So she can focus on that and be so good at that so that you can do what you're good to be doing. I mean, that's awesome. That's a good message for people.
Exactly.
Learn to delegate these things that you don't really need to be doing, that we may need to do in the beginning, or it's fun to do in the beginning. You know every job in that business because you've done it. But now you can kind of move ahead to having someone so you can scale it. Otherwise, you can't scale, right?
Oh, you can't, because, and especially like a lot of like the fun creative stuff where we're like, oh, okay, well, what other rides do we want to do? Like this weekend, this is the first year that we're doing an Easter egg hunt ride, which we're super excited about. Like we've got all these little eggs that we've put candies, like little chocolate candies in. They were actually like hanging from the branches on the trails. So
That's
when we
cool.
take the families on a trail ride, they can go ahead and pluck the different eggs and put them in their little bag that's going to be hanging from the horn. And it's just like a fun, cool, unique experience. But as a business owner, if you are so overwhelmed working in your business, inside of your business, that you can't ever like have fun or be creative or see what are like the ways that you're able to better improve your business, then you're never going to be able to, like you said, grow it and scale it. And
Right.
so it's a matter of stopping working in your business and to start working on your business.
Yeah. I like it. That's
Yeah. And
great.
it's
So, man, we got the high vibe trail rides and we got the ultimate success blueprint.com. And so are you doing some speaking still, or are you doing any live events yourself?
yeah, actually that's what we're moving towards.
Oh,
Um
good.
r- yeah, right now we are, I guess like right now what we are focused on is our 16-week program and how we're helping people in that regard, rewiring the subconscious mind, transforming identities, and just helping people crush their goals. But either this year or next year, we're going to be doing more live events. I know last year was the first year that High Vibe Trail Rides did it was a horseback riding meditation retreat.
Great.
And
Oh my God.
and so that was really cool. That was from Wednesday to Sunday, and we had people fly in from all over the country. And that was really incredible because we were able to do a different meditation every single morning. Because a lot of times with meditation is that people have this misconception in their head that they have to go live in the mountains and dress like a monk and shave their head and just be like, for, 10 hours a
No.
day. And it's not about that. The whole premise of meditation is just gifting yourself that space, that clarity, that quieted mind. And aware, the definition of meditation means to become aware of yourself. And so all change has to start with awareness. So first there's an idea, and then that idea transforms into a want. And then that want has to be transmuted into a desire. Once a want moves from the conscious mind into the subconscious mind as a desire, that's when we'll begin to act. That's when our behavior will be changed.
Yes.
And so when we start changing our behaviors and start committing to ourselves to take action, that's when we'll start to see the change in our lives. So, anyways, meditation allows you to become aware. And so a lot of us, we're not even aware of the thoughts that we're thinking. We're not even aware of that little voice in our head that's constantly tearing us down or telling us that we're not good enough, or why bother, why try. And it's once you bring awareness to your thoughts, to your words, to the conversations that you're having. A lot of times people are at a dinner conversation or at a party, and they're standing in circles. And it's so funny because every single circle will have a different theme. And depending on who you're standing with, it's either going to be an uplifting, exciting theme that you're oh my God, yeah, I've always wanted to go to see the Northern Lights, or, oh my gosh, how was that cruise to Alaska? Or, oh my God, my girlfriend just booked a safari where they're going to be horseback riding galloping next to giraffes. Oh my God, how incredible is that? And so or it could be someone talking about oh my God, the traffic was absolutely miserable. I can't believe there's so much construction. And it's just whatever you talk about is what you're going to very vividly create.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And so many people don't understand that, I like to say, every moment is a manifested miracle. Whatever
Absolutely,
you're thinking about, talking about, you're going to bring about. And so it's up to us to step out of that victim mentality and bring awareness and light to what we're thinking, so that way we can very deliberately create the reality that we want. We're either deliberate creators or we're default creators.
That's right. Yeah.
98% of the world are just default creators, and they're allowing whatever external or outside circumstances are around them dictate their inner state. And it's just you're giving your power away because you have no control over the things that are happening around you. However, if you can begin to start living from the inside out, you can start changing the reality that you're experiencing. And I know it sounds crazy and it sounds woohoo, but it's actually it's
so
all
true. Yeah.
It's so true.
Success is an inside job, and once you realize that, it's not limited. It's empowering. That's me. When I change, things change for me. And so you are right on. Man, I love this because Jim Rohn, he once said, right, I do all these seminars, and they go, don't you get tired of that? No, because I get to hear these things all day long. I get to hear it over. And so now I've heard it from your voice, and it just fires me up. And you're right about meditation. As a matter of fact, before we talked, I went out on the balcony, looked at the beach, and took in the air. I did an episode on negative ions, how being around water, getting your feet on the sand, and so being around the horses, it kind of obliterates those free radicals that are poisons in our body, and those negative ions, which is created by either a positive charge or we're missing a charge, but those negative ions caused by water, crashing water, or just getting our feet. I was talking to somebody about it, and they go, no, though that's kind of like earthing too. And so I didn't even know what earthing was, but I learned it's getting your bare feet on the dirt or the ground, and so important. Yeah. So, man, thank you so much. You know what? I want to be respectful of your time. We're going to have to get back together again because through your videos, I saw that you obviously are a patriot and you have such a patriotic heart, and you obviously supporting the country for what we stand for. I love all when you went to a peaceful protest with your American flags, and it got me fired up. Just a great, so I wanted to go to your YouTube channel, see that. Obviously, I saw your blue line flag. As a retired police officer, I certainly respect that, and thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely. It was actually pretty wild because I had a couple girlfriends like during like the whole like COVID chaos, and they were working in the healthcare industry as nurses.
God bless them. Yeah. Oh man.
And they were going to lose their job because they didn't want to get the vaccine, and so they asked me to go to a peaceful protest in Lansing to support, like, so that way and so it was fun. We went with a group of friends, and I painted like the American flag on my cheeks.
I saw that. Yeah, that was beautiful. Yeah.
And it was a really it was fun, and it was a very positive experience. And then so then I had my American flag, and then I have my and I dressed cute, and then they got a really cool picture. Like the newspapers got a really cool picture of me with American flag blowing behind me, and they plastered it on a newspaper, and it was except you would think, but except the newspaper said, "I feel defeated," and it was talking and they totally flipped the whole script on everything, and I'm like, do I look defeated in that picture? And so
exactly.
I had people all over the country reaching out, sending me hate mail and stuff because I made the Huffington Post or something like that. And I'm just
that's awesome.
It was pretty wild. And I'm just like, wow, all these people are filled with so much hate and animosity. I'm like, we need to spread love, and we need to just support each other. And so
I've experienced that. One time I posted a beautiful picture of my cat with the ocean in the background, and they must have researched and saw that I had been a cop or something, because I bet you'd rather be out on the street killing people and murdering. You go, what the heck? Where did that come from? Hey, did any of your nursing heroes, did they hold the line and not get the vaccine and suffer any consequences?
I don't remember. I know that they didn't get the vaccine, and but I don't know I don't know the end of the story. I know they're still in the medical field.
Thank God. Yeah.
But I know that they were able to, they didn't get bullied into it. So it all worked out for them. So I was really, really happy and grateful for that.
Obviously my mom got it because she's older, and you do what you want to do, but we didn't get it. But people stopped talking to us, and we lost friends. I guess they weren't real friends anyways, but
it got pretty heated for a minute where people weren't invited over for Thanksgiving dinner and all sorts of craziness.
Families were divided. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's not like you got the vaccine and then you didn't get it. All of a sudden, well, you get it, but it's not as bad, right?
I know.
Ridiculous.
I think it's just my parents are I grew up in a household where my parents are super liberal, very, very, very left.
Oh, okay.
And politics were always very divisive, and it was always just chaos and anger and just screaming and yelling, and it was just very divisive.
Oh,
and
wow.
So I never liked politics because I was just I'm like, why can't we just love everybody?
Yeah.
And then on top of all of that, with my background with Dr. Wayne Dyer and Abraham Hicks and creating my own reality, I'm like, it doesn't matter who's in the White House. I'm like, what matter? I am in charge of my own reality, and what I focus on is what I am going to create.
Yes.
And so why am I going to give my power away to things that are external to me?
Right.
And so I think that it's, and then as the whole COVID thing unfolded, then I just started to question everything. And then I started questioning everything. And then I learned a lot, and it was quite the experience. But I think at the end of all of it, the whole point is that like we need to all come together as a
Yes.
nation, just as humanity,
Yeah.
and just like put down all the barriers, because like we said earlier, like love is the only thing that
Yeah.
matters. And when you put love first, all the suffering ends.
I like it. Hey, let's end with that. Put love first, but I want people to go, and I'll give you the last thought, but I want them to go to the ultimate success blueprint.com because you can go
Slash
slash Cliff
Cliff
Yates and you're going to get some free training. And why not? Start investing in yourself. And you got high vibe trail rides. If you're near or around Michigan, travel, get there. Might feed your soul. I think I might be going there, by the way. And yeah, Lucie Ptasznik, you are awesome. You do rock, as Joseph McClendon would say. You probably met him too, right? He's always with Tony. You know Joseph?
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah. He always says you rock, so I've adopted that. But you do rock. Any final thoughts before I let you go? And I appreciate your time. And I think some people are going to get some great value out of this. And hopefully they go and check you out.
I love your energy. I love your message. I'm so
Thank
grateful
you.
that we got to connect. This was absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
And I look forward for the next time that we are able to inspire and empower your audience.
Let's talk again. Hang around for the debriefing. And if anybody's listening or watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. If you're listening on a podcast platform, subscribe because it tells the computer people are interacting with the show and they're going to show it to more people. That's what we want. We want a bigger reach of positivity. Thank you, Lucie.